you know, and I forget which. There was a philosopher recently, an Australian guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was suggesting that that people, parents should have the right to kill their children if they're sort of educationally subnormal, or if they're in some way disabled or something, up until the age of 3. I think. Did you mention something about that? But you know, that's, to me, that is just disgusting. I can't understand how anyone would think that. But his logic is, you can't fault his logic in thinking that way, you know. So in that regard, logic takes you to there. You're taking, you know, there's nothing illogical about what he's saying. But it's horrible. It's horrible. And why is it horrible? Because it's shaped by my emotions. You know, the amygdala is an integral part of your brain. How you think is wrapped up with your emotions. You can't think without emotions. And perfectly honest, I wouldn't want to think without my emotions. I want my decision to be shaped in some form, or influenced in some form by my emotions. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was when you talked about the thing about abortion, and about pain and things like that. Well, I'm not for abortion at all, and I freely admit it's not based on logic. Logic would dictate that suffering, well, to me anyway, suffering can only be, you can only suffer if you have some sort of concept of suffering. You can only suffer pain if you have some sort of concept of what suffering is, and for that you need language. I think you need language to be able to conceptualize suffering. Otherwise, pain is just a sensory input to allow you to get away from something that's going to cause you harm. So if that is the case, then if suffering is dependent on being able to conceptualize the concept of suffering, and you need language to do that, then you could possibly say that animals don't suffer, because they don't understand pain. They feel pain as a sensory input, but they don't suffer it. So it's just anthropomorphization of animals whenever we talk about them suffering in laboratories, and the suffering of the dolphins and the suffering of the whales, and you know, fishing is bad and things like this. You know, I don't subscribe to that view. You know, I mean, it may be true that animals and fetuses and even babies, young babies or toddlers, could be said not to suffer because they don't understand the concept of suffering. But still in all, I don't want to see harm to animals. I don't want to see harm to young children. You know, so logic there doesn't lead you to an acceptable sort of civilized life. You know, I mean, I hope you can understand where I'm coming from there. So I mean, that's just a couple of thoughts I had on your video. Okay, thanks very much. Peace.